everyone, I'm Lori from Lori's Country Cottage, and I'm going to show you how to make this advent calendar out of a panel. The instructions on the panel are pre-printed, as well as a couple of other things that are on the panel. So here are your directions. Now, I'm not a good one with directions, but this does say sew on the green lines. There's no green lines on here. I think there's an oops. Anyways, this is a beautiful panel from Northcott. First thing we're going to want to do is trim it up around the outside edge, to trim just a little bit bigger than what your panel, what the part of your panel that you want on your hanging, you want to trim it just past. Now, you can trim it a little bit more than that for quilting. So I'm going to add about 1 inch all the way around. Now, if you notice that this is not really straight, what you want to do before you get too far is give it a tug. When they print the fabric, hopefully it's printed on straight, but as it goes through the rolling, folding and rolling process, sometimes it gets knocked off wonky. We want this to be as straight as possible. So I'm going to trim about 1 inch on both edges here. You can see there's a little wonk there. And this edge has some labels, and so we will want to stay a little bit away from those labels so that we can use those labels as well. And so I'm going to cut it about 1/4 inch past my edge here. So you want to continue and trim all the way around. Okay? As I'm trimming here, I see that there's a little bow right here. If you want to take a look against the ruler, do you see that? So the first thing I'm going to want to do as soon as I have this edge all trimmed is I want to give it a tug, as I showed you with that little corner. So I'll continue trimming and then I'll show you what to do with that. Okay, now here's the corner where I am not very straight. So what I want to do is pull this way, and likely it got twisted when it was rolled or when it was printed. So you want to grab 2 opposite corners and give it a tug. Much better. Still not 100%. So the first thing, or the second thing that I want to do is make sure it's straight as good as I can. So this corner is a little bit short. So what I'm going to do is about on the halfway mark, I'm just going to give it a little tug, just to straighten that out. Now you want to just be sure that when you put it on when you start to quilt it, you've got it as straight as you can get it. And then you can trim it all up exactly where you want it at the end. Now what you want, the second thing that you need to do on here is fold it. And there are markings on here of where you need to fold. So I'm going to take this to my ironing board. I'll bring it back all pressed, and then I'll show you what to do next. Okay, I've taken this to the ironing board, and you can see the little black lines on here. Those are fold lines. And so what those create is the pockets. Now I've ironed it already, just so I wouldn't have to be ironing it here while you're watching. So what I did was I folded it on that line and I pressed it. Then I folded it on the next black line. And what that does is brings this up to the edge here. So you can just put it up nice, right along the edge there, and then I pressed. Okay, and the same thing, the one line is pressed up or down, the other one is pressed up, and then you want to bring it up to this edge. Same thing again, you continue with all the rows. And what this is doing is creating your pockets. So now you can take it to your sewing machine or to your basting area, put a backing on there and a batting, and then you want to stitch through these lines. What that is going to do is create your side lines, and then you want to stitch along here. Now you could stitch once through the middle if you wanted, or just follow the lines right along the edges here and stitch each one twice. Now what we did is we put it on the long arm, and we would love to do yours on our long arm as well. And we put a design up top, and I'll show you a picture of that a little bit later, closer, of snowflakes and then these lines. I think that it would look equally as nice if these lines just continued all the way up. Then I would measure sideways to be about this size to go. So it would be a grid at the top as well as on the bottom. Now the way we did it, we did a quilting design up here, and then we went up here and then along here. Once you've got it all stitched and quilted, you want to trim it at about 1/4 inch. Now mine was trimmed just about right on 1/4 inch, and I'm thinking that if you went just a little bit smaller than that, you would end up just getting into the red, and there'd be no risk of getting the white when you put your binding on. When you're all done as well, you want to think about how you're going to hang it. Are you going to put a hanging sleeve on it, or are you going to put tabs? Think about that before you finish it up, so that you can hang it and then you can put your little gifts inside. So again, you fold on the fold lines, which makes it come right up nice and even. Fold on the fold lines so it's nice and even. Then you're going to want to stitch along here and stitch here as well. You can stitch right near the top here if you want, or just along the bottom edge, which is enough. Did we do both? No, we just did it along here. So next I'll show you another picture of the finished a little bit closer so you can see that. And I hope that this inspires you to make an advent calendar, fill it with your favorite little treats, and it's simple from a panel. If you want to get your quilt quilted by us, we have priced it out for $50. We can get it quilted for you. So all you would do would be bring it in like this, all ironed up. You can pin it along the edge here so that it's all together, and we'll throw it on the machine and quilt it up for you. So I will show you a picture of the finished, and then we will, that will be it for our How Tuesday. So I will get you that picture and we'll be done. Thank you.